What's up, parents? Hey, no matter where you're listening right now, whether you're in the kitchen, cleaning, making some food, maybe you're driving a car, maybe your kids are in the car, maybe you're at the office, you're just on a walk, wherever you're listening to, raise your hand. Raise your hand if you've ever ended up in just a full-on war and you're freaking out over a math worksheet.
Oh my gosh, we've all been there.
Oh, me too. Oh my gosh, the opening to this podcast episode sucks.
That is not how they taught me, Dad. That's not how you're supposed to do it.
And suddenly, you're negotiating with a tiny, unreasonable lawyer who hasn't even passed the 5th grade. They're crying. They're moaning. They're rolling on the ground. They're doing cartwheels. You're pissed. You're frustrated. The dog is scared, hiding underneath the table. Dinner, it's not even being made. You're all alone. You got no co-parenting help. And at the end of the night, nobody wins. Parents, let's be real. Homework, oh my gosh, the homework battles. It can feel like a hostage negotiation. Except in this situation, the bad guy is not some like South American weirdo. It's the math book. It's the assignment that no one really understands. And someone's been taken. Your child's been taken. And it's bad. It's real bad. And now they need a negotiator. Where's the negotiator? Here you come. You're the negotiator. And you're running on crappy coffee and on cortisol. And your kid is just not there. They're demanding snacks. They're moaning. They're doing cartwheels. They're going to the bathroom. Your teenager's trying to look at TikToks. Oh, my gosh. This is not a good opening to an episode, Jordan, don't you think?
This sounds like every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday in my household. Sometimes Mondays. But this is on repeat, for folks getting back to the swing of things. School can be tough. Especially we get these long gaps, summertime break. It's so fun.
Right.
There's no stress. There's rarely any book reports due or homework. You got to do nothing. And now you expect me to do all this stuff the first week? What are these teachers thinking? This isn't my job. I have to slowly work my way into school. You can't just give me homework on the first or second day.
By the time this episode comes out, because we're doing this right the first week of back to school, by the time it comes out, we'll all have been in school. Most of us are about 4 or 5 weeks, right? So transition, some of you are just getting started. So I've got some good news. There's some tools around homework stress. There's do's and don'ts. And here's actually why we're doing this episode, because your wife, Danny, she reached out to me or us in a group chat, and he said, I need some tips for homework battles. And did you hear my response?
No.
I said, there are none. We're all doomed.
We're all doomed. We're all in this on our own, man.
Which is not true, actually. It's not true.
Well, it definitely takes a lot of patience, and I know we've got a list here of things that we got to do better as parents, but there's a situation where my wife was like, you got to handle this. I'm about to freak out, and so I could tell, it's like whenever one of us we see red, the other needs to step in and be the cool cucumber. Yeah. So we had that battle the first week in our household.
The first week, yeah. Here's some good news too. We're going to give you some great skills today, but also at the end of this, I'm gonna tell you some things that are really gonna shock you, surprise you. At the end of this episode, towards the end, I'm gonna tell you some creative things that other families have done, really alternative ideas, creative ideas. And you might think these families are a bunch of weirdos, or be like, oh my gosh, I'm so desperate for something different. And so let me just run some creative ideas past you. We got kind of like a few points that we're gonna get through. The first one, we're really gonna talk about like just how to think about parenting and understand the roots of parenting. Then we're going to give you some, how to think about it, and we're going to give you some action steps. Like, do this, don't do that. And this is work. It's just, we all need tool set. But before we do, I want to honor somebody.
Let me ask you something. Doing their homework, is that a do or don't? Can I just do it for them?
Yeah.
That's so much easier, bro. Just give me the paper. I'll do your long division and just turn it in.
Dude, I want to honor somebody on this. If you're listening on the podcast, I'm wearing a black hat right now because, I love hats. I love hats, but also because my wife tells me she likes me more in hats. But I'm taking off my black hat, and I'm putting on a special hat.
It's your thinking cap.
I'm putting on a beautiful San Diego Chargers, Los Angeles Chargers hat in honor of you, a man
Thank
that I
you.
love and honor on your 39th birthday. This is for you. Happy birthday. I know you celebrated over the weekend. I hope you had
Appreciate
a good
it.
one. You feel loved and cared for.
It's a great one. And this is a rare day. I mean, seeing Sean Donahue in a Chargers hat, you could have not seen him wearing that over his dead corpse when I was in high school. He would have never. But how do you not rock the baby blue and the yellow?
Isn't
They're
it
so
just
cool.
so gorgeous?
Yeah,
Such a
looks good,
gorgeous
man.
hat. Also, for those of you listening, thanks so much for listening to us. I started this podcast years ago, and I called Jordan. I said, I want to do a podcast, but I don't want to do it by myself. I'd be bored. Can you do it with me? And he said yes. And now we don't see each other very much, but I'm traveling to, my wife Danielle and I, we're going to travel to Atlanta, Georgia in a couple months. And
awesome.
we're going to stay next to Jordan and his wife. We're going to go to a gala, a fundraiser together for Down syndrome. And we're going to be in person together. And
awesome.
we're going to hug each other. And we're going to work out. We're going to play tennis. And we're going to maybe film a podcast live together. And so it's just, I'm really excited, man.
Yeah. And the only reason I said yes to do this podcast is if you bought a Charger hat and wore it and talked about it on the podcast every once in a while. So you're fulfilling your contract duties. Thank you.
It is. All right. So let's do it. All right, Jordan. Okay. Here's something that's important.
Don't do their homework. Don't take my advice. Don't do their homework.
Never about what it's about. It's never about what it's
that.
about. I just did just this morning, actually, 7:30 in the morning, West Coast time. I gave a large workshop for a company called Velocity EHS, excuse me. And we entitled the workshop, it's a parenting back to school workshop, How to Talk So They Listen and Listen So They Talk. Isn't that a great title? Isn't that catchy?
How to talk so they listen and how to listen so they talk. That is catchy.
Yeah.
A lot of us don't know how to do that.
It's
That's
catchy.
good.
It's like communication workshop.
Yeah.
And we did some role playing, where I taught some skills, and then I asked some of the parents there, hey, pretend to be your kid, and let's act it out. And I'll show you
Nice.
these tools in action. And the dad, his name Andrew, he did a great job acting like his 9-year-old daughter, Madden. Shout out to you, Andrew, if you're listening. She was talking about how, something that actually happened. So right before school, here we are, first couple days of 4th grade, this little girl was like, I'm not going to school. I don't want to.
Oh, she's scared. She's nervous. First day jitters. I get it.
She didn't say that. She just said, I don't want to. I don't like my teacher. I don't want to go.
Right.
So we role played out some scenarios, and I asked the group that was watching, okay, remember, parenting is never about what it's about. What's really going on here? And the first 2 or 3 people, it was all on Zoom, they unmuted themselves, and they said, well, the girl doesn't want to go. She wants to stay with her dad. I was like, go deeper. She doesn't like her teacher. I was like, remember, it's not about what's about. Go deeper. Okay. Next parent said, she's just not in a good mood, and she doesn't like going to school. I said, come on, go deeper.
She feels insecure.
Yeah.
She feels like she's not smart enough. She feels like she can't hang. She's shy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the 4th parent, a dad, he said something just like that. It's got to be anxiety, worried.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah. And she's scared, and she wants to talk. And she wants to talk to the one person in her life, her dad, who loves her, or 2, who she can process these feelings with.
Right.
So
that's a cool way to look at it, right? If you think about it like that. Like, he's her safety person, right? She feels most comfortable with him. But sorry, Delilah, you got to go to school.
You got to go to school. That's exactly.
You got to go to school, girlfriend.
You still got to go to school, and she sure did. So as we think about homework, here's a couple things. Jordan, get us started. It's never about what it's about. What's homework really about?
All right, so we got to look at, the roots of the homework battles. What are they about? Is it because your kid feels that they're not smart enough? Mine, we've had this battle. It's like, I don't get it. We never were taught this, right? There's always excuses. There's this thing called control versus autonomy, right? Many of these homework fights are not about the math problem or spelling the word or understanding, the Civil War. It's basically a power struggle, right? They want ownership of their time. They want ownership of their choices. There might be a skill gap, right? work may be hard, and hopefully it is. It's pushing them.
Yeah.
So the child who feels incompetent, they're mainly going to resist because it protects their self-esteem. They feel stupid. My daughter said that so many times. I feel so stupid. I don't get it, because her and my son are twins. And so he's like, what are you talking about? We learned this today. It's just like this. And she goes, how do you know how to do that? And so she just has a different ability on how to learn. And so she feels not strong in that element at all. How about time and energy, right? Our kids are freaking exhausted, just like we are, right? And, you come home from school, maybe they had practice, and then you got to have them focus and eat and bathe and do chores. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like asking us to, go work out at 4 a.m., go get your breakfast, go to work an 8-hour job, sit in 2 hours of traffic, come home, and then, you got to focus on your taxes for the next 4 hours and put those in right before April 15th. It's torture. No one likes doing that. There's, pain versus pleasure. There's emotional baggage there. Homework time has become associated with yelling, shame, stress, resistance. There's so many different things here. So we have to look at all of that and then, parent to our best ability to counter those, feelings.
All while we're exhausted because we're either working
all
parents.
We are exhausted too.
Or we're a stay-at-home parent and we're just like, oh my gosh, here we go.
Right.
Such a challenge. So good news, bad news. Which one do you want first?
Let's do bad news first because then we can counter it with the good.
Bad news is that, we cannot control our children. We cannot control our teachers. We cannot control their assignments. And in many schools and in many classes, not all, this is a part of what it means to be a child right now. Good news. Yes, there are things you can do to alleviate the stress and to have more harmony and win-win and to parent the child you have, not the child you want. Let's talk about that.
So for me, just to kind of give you guys an example of what I've done with my daughter.
Yeah.
She'll sit there and she'll look at a problem and literally can't figure it out. So I have to reteach her. Okay, what do we know, right? And I'll sit with her with the paper and let's say there's a paragraph. Let's say it's Spanish. Sean, your favorite was Spanish.
Oh, so hard.
So hard.
No bueno.
No bueno. What do we know from this? I know nothing. I know absolutely nothing here. Really? Okay, let's calm down for a second. Let's look at each word. Are there any words in Spanish that look like English maybe? Let's look, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had to slowly break it down for them and basically help her to see. It's like we're teaching them how to learn. Wow. Our kids have to learn how to learn. Right. We know how to do it as adults. They don't know how to do that yet.
I think what you're saying here is action step number 1 is that if you have the time, if you have the energy, you sit down with your child and you teach them how to learn. I mean, this sounds really hard to do, but I guess this is action step number 1. Is that what we're saying?
I think so, because if not, it's well, just figure it out. You're on your own. I'm not going to help you because you're not going to get smart if I do it, so just figure it out. And then they just are like, okay, I'm okay with failing. Whatever.
That's so true. You know what? I'm just trying to picture this in my mind like it's a little chart. There's do's and don'ts. So yeah, do's is do your best to emotion coach and coach your child into the arts of homework, and don'ts would be just shame them or abandon them to this all on their own. That makes sense. I think good parents, they don't do that. They don't just say, this is your job, leave me alone. I am going to Orange Julius.
Which is delicious, by the way. I know. You know why I think I can get through to her is because maybe I simplify it in a way to where she doesn't feel dumb.
Yeah.
She feels supported.
Right.
She feels like she's understanding.
Yeah.
Right? And so she's not being criticized and, how do you not know this? We just learned about it today, which my son will say. But hey, shh, stop it. Go in the other room.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Who, out of your twins, who is more inviting? When they're struggling with their homework, which child, is struggling in a way that draws you in versus the other child? It's like, oh my gosh, I don't even want to be around this kid right now. It's so annoying.
I'm open-minded to both.
Maybe you don't want to say their names, yeah.
Because I've had more experiences or events with my daughter, I'm like, oh, here we go again. But I'm like, you know what? No, at least I had the opportunity to do this, so I'm going to sit down with you. We're going to do it.
Yeah, so here's another great action step. So when your children are young, what you should do is you should tell them the plan for after school. Like I remember for all of our kids, still to this day with our younger kids, we demand that they come home and they eat. And 2 of our children, we have to bring food in the car because they're so tired, they're so messed up. And right now our youngest is 9, and so we demand that she has to eat right away. But as they get older, you'll notice that this command and control is not working. So think of it, one of the best ways to think about how to solve homework struggles, everyone, is just to create like a win-win plan. Something that works for you and for them. Because in some home Jordans, they have this plan where like no screen time until you're done with their homework.
Right.
But in other homes, they're like, look, my child is a mess when they come home from school. They don't want to do more school.
Right, I know.
I want them to.
But my thing is, if they don't do it then, it's not going to get done. They're going to get too tired. It's, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, it's 9:00 and you still haven't done it?
This is why there is no one size fits all for homework. Everyone has got to figure out a plan that works best for everybody. It's like this win-win. And like when you're going to do it, where you're going to do it, how you're going to do it. And like, here's like, if you think about it, like if your child is doing their homework in this room and there's constant problems, well then be the boss and say, look, from now on, new rule, you cannot do your homework in that room. Like, here's the future of all education. I have the answers. I have the crystal ball. The future of all education is the school-only computer. A computer that children cannot access YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat. And right now, you can do that. You don't have to wait for the future. You need to take that kid's cool Google Chromebook. If you like what I'm saying, go back and listen to 2 episodes ago. We did a whole episode on Google Chromebooks. And take it and put it up on the shelf and let it collect dust for 9 months. And then go and purchase a different computer. Put a great third-party app on it, not screen time from Apple, and lock down every single website, and then tell your kids which room they're not allowed to bring this into and which room they are allowed to bring it into. I think this whole like idea of letting your teenagers just kind of go into their room with an uncensored, unmonitored computer, those days need to be over, everybody. You don't know what they're looking at. It's not good. You don't know if they're studying or screwing up on some shady site. And so it's about like this win-win. It's about being firm and setting guidelines, but also doing it in a way that's flexible to your child.
That's good. Can you link all the devices together so you can control that app on your own personal device?
Absolutely.
As a parent?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because I've never had one of those, and I've always been interested in getting one, but I was like, man, can I link all the devices? All right, I had this other idea too.
Yeah.
So another tip for everybody, we could call chunk the work, right? But I did this with my brother when we were kids, right?
Oh, you did?
I was 3 years older, and he didn't want to do his homework, and my mom, she was out at work, and I was watching the kids at the house. I was in 5th grade or something like that. But, I was in charge of like, yo, guys, we got to do our homework. And so I was like, how about this? We'll play back in the day. Do you remember wall ball?
Yeah, wall ball. Yeah.
Wall ball, where you just basically hit the ball on the ground, it hits the ball, and it comes back, and you just, and they have different. Okay, so we would play wall ball for like 10 minutes. And then I'd say, okay, sit down for a couple minutes and do your homework, and then we'll play another round. Yeah. And he would get a couple of minutes of homework in. They're like, okay, let's play wall ball again. And it helped him do a couple of problems, and then he had something to look forward to every couple of minutes. And it got him through the whole project, which was great.
That's cool, man. That's really cool.
So there's a 10-2 rule, 10 minutes of work, 2 minutes break. You could go 20 minutes of work, 5 minutes break. So you just decide what you want. Just team it up with something fun.
Just going on that point, like for some parents, they like this idea of micromanaging your kids, 10 and 2. But for the majority of us, let me give you a different perspective. Like, you micromanage your child if it's causing you stress. You need to reevaluate your plan. Like any type of plan that's driving you nuts.
As a parent.
They do it though, especially parents of children who have ADD or ADHD. They will micromanage this child because they're so full of love for the child, because the teachers and the administrators have told the parent, hey, you have to watch this child. You have to give them extra attention. And they're like, I'm a good parent. Yeah. I'll do that. And by the time this child is 12, the parent has lost their minds, and the kid has lost their mind because they're so sick of the micromanaging, and they're so sick of all this. So I just will keep repeating that kind of theme for everyone throughout this episode is you've got to create a system that's easy for you and not stressing you out. And so if this 10 and 2 works, 10 minutes of work, 2 minutes of break, that works for you and you can do that, do it. And if it doesn't work, don't do it.
Do something else. Okay, that's good. Because we already have a lot on our plate, right? We don't want to add too much more. Another thing to have to babysit can get freaking frustrating.
That's why I hang tight. I'll tell you some other creative ideas that other parents have done. So, yeah, like when you think about another great idea to think about is just think about like connection before correction. Like give your children some time to connect with you, connect with someone they love, have that time before they're forced to go do their homework. It's really about like creating a predictable structure in your house. So for example, I don't think like we should be always rewarding kids with screens. I know that's a common thing. That's a common thing to say. Yes, if you do your homework, then you get screen time, which is fair, which is fine. But instead of thinking it like, yes, every day you get screen time, think of it like, hey, you know what? We do screen times on the weekends, and there's just no screen time during the week. You want something to do during the week? Play a sport. Or if you do have trustworthy kids who are doing well with like an hour of screen time, then go for that. As long as it works for you, make it easy for yourself, right? Okay. They're out there watching YouTube on the screen, or maybe you have a kid who gets 30 minutes on an iPad and in the living room. Like, who am I to tell you that's not good? If it's working for you, then do it. Don't you agree, Jordan?
100%. Dude, the coolest thing just happened to us this week. We got an email from the kids' school, and it was from their math teacher. And I was like, oh, no, here we go. Mm-hmm. And the math teacher was giving our kids so much props. I was like...
Your children, your twins.
Yes.
What?
Like, I am just flabbergasted by how kind they are. I'm like, this is so nice. Like, they're so... And she goes, in my 34 years of teaching, I've never had anybody as giving as your daughter, Emery. She meets me in my class every day before our time starts and helps me take all the books to the class. Like, she'll help carry the teacher's belongings every day. She'll do that. And Emery, our kids would have never told us this, right? It was so nice for the teacher to reach out and be like, this is, so sweet. And I was like, this is the kindest email I've ever got. I'm going to freaking shed a tear. This is so cool. But like, now I'm like to the point where I'm like, this process of, rewarding, right? Or it's like now I'm like, I got to reward them. Like, this is so cool. Like,
exactly.
This is just them being them. But I'm like, I got to give you something. You guys, this is so nice. I'm so happy. Like, thank you for making me so proud.
What a great story. What a birthday gift.
It was really cool. I know. And that was a really cool moment. But what it shows me is like, what goes to another tip here is like, what we're doing is working, even though maybe in the moment it doesn't seem like it's working. You're having these yelling sessions during homework, but, it seems like through this whole process, this journey, I am teaching them, and they are slowly developing these self-management skills, which is kind of another thing that we're trying to do, right? So instead of me setting the timer for the 10-2 rule, maybe they set the timer. I'm teaching them how to manage everything themselves. Hey guys, here's my plan for you. I want you to manage it for you every day, and I'm going to watch you to make sure you're doing it.
Gosh, that's a great story. And let me give you another tool, and I'll use that story of your daughter Emery to even like teach this tool. Okay, so now let's imagine we're sitting with our person, and they're having stresses over homework, and like, I'm stupid, I can't get this, I'm dumb, and there's a lot of good things you could say in that situation. Here's something to say, just an idea. Hey, Emery, I know it's really hard. It is hard, Dad. I feel so stupid. My brother gets this. I know it's tough. Yeah. Our brains are all different, and your brain doesn't pick up math as well as some other things your brain does. I know I don't like my brain, right? But your brain is so gifted at so many other things, honey. Like, you are so skilled at this, you are so skilled at that. And remember your teacher? I mean, when she wrote that email to me, honey, you are like succeeding in so many areas of life. I'm so proud of you. It's okay that you struggle with math, like a lot of people do. And you know what, in life, how you treat people is more important than math. So like, I am so proud of you and who you are. And I know it's tough, and math is a challenge, and I'm going to help you with this challenge. And you got this, but we got to keep pressing on.
That was very picturesque, perfect, very sweet. Do you want to really know how the conversation went? Dad, I don't understand. I didn't learn any of this stuff. Well, Emery, yes, you did. Your brother did. No, the teacher didn't teach me. I did not learn how to do this. Okay, well, yes, I know you did. You know what I think it is? I think you're not paying attention. I am paying attention. No, you're not paying attention, because if you were paying attention, you would know how to do this. What are you doing? Are you taking notes in class? What kind of notes are you taking?
Totally.
No, we're not allowed to take notes in class because we're not allowed to take our iPads out because someone got in trouble with their iPads. Okay, what about a pen and paper? We're not allowed to, just... It just went into this hole. Yours was much nicer. Your brain isn't perfect, but you're so sweet. I love you. No, mine was, you're not paying attention. Get a piece of paper and a pen and take notes.
Dude, that's that's reality too. Like, let's be honest. This is me in a podcast studio talking to you, and in real life we get, we're like, come on, you gotta be
Right.
listening. Now
Yeah.
I gotta be your teacher. You gotta go to school so they teach you. I have other kids here. I have other stuff to do. Oh my
That's
gosh.
exactly right.
See, it's just like, we've done a lot of teaching around how to speak identity into your kids, and like homework models. And in this story that Jordan just shared, this is a good example, like, of teaching growth mindset and homework battles. Just say, hey, it's okay that your brain is not as good with one subject, but it's not a big deal.
So another tip is to not do what I did and stay calm during these pushbacks. Okay, everybody?
Oh, gosh.
You got to keep your voice low. You don't want to escalate like I did, right? If the resistance rises, pause the homework, maybe have a reset. Let's take a break. Why don't you go take a shower? We'll come back to this after dinner.
That's good.
And we've actually done that too, and it has helped. It's helped me as the parent
Yeah.
and them as the child.
So what you're kind of doing there, just listen to, is you're kind of branding yourself as like, I'm a coach, I'm your friend, I'm a support, this is your challenge. And that's like, I think, such a great way to look at homework. Like, hey, it's not your homework, it's the kids. They might fail, they might pass, and like, the more you realize, like, you can't control this situation, the better more mindfulness you'll have. That's the problem. You feel like you have to have this kid do this work. They have to get it done. You're a bad parent if they don't. Your kid's going to be a loser. They're going to have to repeat the 7th grade. And like, that's just toxic thinking. That's just going to drive you up bonkers.
That's parenting in fear. I mean, we all have it, but yeah, calm down. Okay, go out and smell the flowers. It's going to be okay if they can't figure out this one math problem.
I got a few really creative ideas that I want to share with everyone that other families have done, because I've been around sons and daughters for 25 years. But before I do, give us a few more other words on like parenting mindset shifts. Give us a few more thoughts about that.
Kind of going over what I said again, but in a different way. We want to support. We don't want to force. Okay.
Like he's talking.
We can't make our kids learn.
You sound like a first grade teacher.
It's like, it's so funny because she brought me a problem that she learned last year. She goes, I don't understand this. I'm like, you taught me how to do this. They have new methods of teaching these days, And I'm like, you taught me this last year. I know you know this. So I had to support. I had to make sure that she was, oh yeah, I did learn this, okay? Because sometimes when you try to eat an elephant one time, it's scary. You got to do it one bite at a time. It's a terrible analogy, but that's the analogy I'm using. So we can't make them learn. We, can help create some of these conditions where learning is more easily, approachable. We want to praise effort, like Sean says, not outcome. Like, you got an A. Yes, I expected that. No, it's like, you worked your butt off. I'm proud of you for studying. You did great. Yeah. In fact, I need to do better at complimenting on effort. I actually don't compliment on outcome specifically, but I think we all could do better in that category. We don't want to let homework steal the relationship, right? This parent-daughter relationship.
That's pretty deep what you're saying. Don't let homework steal the relationship. Tell me more.
Well, because it causes fights, it causes stress, it causes turmoil between the parent and the child, and anxiety, and then you go to bed angry. It's just like a spouse and spouse. You don't want to do that. This is supposed to be a fun, slow journey that's beautiful and teaching our kids how to become young adults. So we don't want that to be ruined by these at-home homework blow-ups, okay? We also want to model lifelong learning. This is what I was saying. We have to teach our kids how to learn. We each have to learn how to learn.
Yeah.
If we don't learn how to learn, we'll just go to ChatGPT. Think about it. The AI is going to be crazy. No one's going to know how to learn anymore.
I know.
They're just going to go to the internet for answers, and we're all going to be walking around like zombies, not actually knowing anything.
It's already started.
I know. So that is part of this journey as well.
Yeah, man. Yeah, well said. All right. I'm excited for this section of our podcast. I'd like to share with you some things that my family has done, what other families have done to solve homework battles, and creative things I've heard from other families are doing. Can I share some creative ideas?
Yeah.
All right? And I want you to poke holes in them, and I want you to ask me around, and I'll talk whatever you want. So idea number one is you take your child out of this school, and you put them into a school that doesn't have any homework. That's an idea.
Are there a lot of schools that do that?
Yes, and they are growing every day.
Like a charter school, or maybe a private school, or
homeschool.
If we can't afford a private school, okay, a homeschool. But I guess homeschool, you're doing work at home, so it is kind of homework, but you're just basically getting the task done.
Did you know that most homeschool kids, this is not a new thing, they only do about 2 hours of work a day? Did you know that?
I did not know that. That seems really low.
That's a thing.
Because I'm just thinking of let's say I'm in high school. Let's say I'm in 9th grade and I'm learning Algebra 1.
Yeah.
The only way I was able to focus on Algebra 1 was to sit there for about 30 minutes while the instructor showed me how to do this specific problem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And then he says, okay, you have 10 problems in front of you.
Yeah.
Practice them. We're going to go over them together for the next 30 minutes. And then I go home and have to practice some more.
Yeah.
That's the only way I'm going to learn. So if I'm getting 2 hours a day of all subjects, I don't even know if I'd be able to learn Algebra 1.
Well, I have some stats on that.
Okay.
That story you said, that sounded fine. Some of us were shaking our heads. But some people were shaking their head left and right. That's not how people learn. So I'm talking about two separate things here. So first, let me talk about a story, and then I'll tell you some stats about homework and the research around homework. So my daughter was when she's 20 now, but when she was in the first grade, she was coming home and having extreme meltdowns every day after the first grade, dude. Every day.
First grade, okay. Totally get it. Understand.
And we're like, oh my gosh. And so my wife turns to me and she says, something is really off here. I'm thinking about homeschooling. I said, no. No.
You don't want that stress.
What?
I don't want the kids here all day.
5 reasons why I don't want to have a homeschool kid.
Yeah.
And she did it. And our lives were improved dramatically. Now, where did my daughter learn more? From an awesome first grade teacher or from a homeschool second grade teacher? I don't know. We don't know. I know that it's a wild adventure. I know that millions of parents are doing that more and more. And I know that this is a common thing, that there can be so much stress in a home, in that sometimes if there is a willing parent or a co-op, that is a creative idea. You pull them out of that school to a school that has no homework, because it's a growing thing, dude. It's a growing thing. My 9-year-old, she goes to a school that does not have any homework right now, and that's amazing. And so your concept of like, do you think my daughter's not learning as much because she's not doing homework? Well,
no.
I'll tell you what the research said. But now you're right?
Right.
Plus, were you actually learning when you're in high school?
No, you're memorizing.
You're right. Is that actually learning?
No, you're memorizing.
So before I tell you some more creative ideas, hang tight. There's a lot of research on homework. And this is not an episode on is homework a good thing or not. I just want you to know there's a lot of mixed research. So for example, there was research done from 1987 to 2003 by Harris Cooper's meta-analysis, and it finds that generally consistent evidence for a positive influence of homework on achievement for grades 7 through 12. So there you go. You just proved it. Homework helps people learn and have better achievements. There you go. It's proven. But hang tight.
Okay.
Hang tight. How about this one? A different study showed that other studies, this says a quote, consistently shows that homework has little to no benefit for kids K through 5. That's another study.
You know what I hate about studies?
Go. Yeah, tell me.
Study comes out.
I know.
Coffee is good for you. Have a cup a day and it helps here. Study comes out. Coffee is bad for you. It dehydrates you. It ages you fast.
I know.
Study comes out. Coffee is good for you.
Right.
So I feel like we are such unique individuals. We're all human beings, but we all have different backgrounds, different learning capabilities. So I think we can find studies on all these, like you're saying.
How about this?
It depends on what our kid needs.
Imagine you and I are 11 years old. Was homework good for 11-year-old Jordan and 11-year-old Sean? I can tell you right now my answer. You go. Was homework good for you?
I'm going to answer yes.
I'll answer heck no. Why was homework good for you at age 11?
Because it taught me that I have a deadline. I have to do this so that when I went through high school and college, when I got more homework, I knew how to handle it and how to manage my own time.
Okay.
It was building me up to what the scholastic teachings are right now, and that is, generally speaking, you go to university, you're going to have to write a 12-page paper at some point.
Did you actually want to learn? This might sound so stupid. Oh my gosh, I started asking you a question. This is such a dumb question. I know my answer. Did you actually want to learn in school? Did you? Did you want to learn?
I didn't.
Did you actually I want to learn this information? Did you want to learn?
Not till I got older. Not till I got older.
Oh, how old?
I don't know. I didn't appreciate learning until probably college.
Me too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But you had to learn, even though you didn't want to, you had to learn to go to college. You had to learn.
No. I didn't learn
to get
anything.
a job.
I didn't learn anything.
Yes, you did. You
It's
learned
a
your
verb.
alphabet. You learned how to read.
Right.
You learned your
Let's
numbers.
argue. It's a verb, to learn. I didn't have any interest in learning. I didn't have any interest in being in there. I got all B's. I could have got A's.
But you still learned.
I did, but I didn't have interest in it. I wanted to get through it and finish it so I could play John Madden football.
Correct.
And
but that's why we
hang out
have
with
to
my
do
friends. Right.
That's why we have to do it, because we would be lazy and do nothing.
Right, but does forcing a kid to do something actually help them learn, or are there alternative ways of learning? Here's a couple more stats. So this stat said that in secondary school, homework has a moderate positive effect on learning, especially in math, science, and writing. The benefits increase with age, so that makes sense. The benefits of homework increase with age, right? This is exactly what you and I were talking about. We started understanding homework
Enjoying
more.
How to,
Post.
When I was reading about King Tut's tomb in 5th grade, I didn't know what the heck I was reading about. I didn't know any of this.
So then they plateau at 1 to 2 hours per night. So do you know that in juniors in high school, some of them have 6 to 8 hours of homework every night?
No, that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Dude, I've been working.
How can anybody go to school for 8 hours and then have 3 hours of practice?
You call me a liar? I'm
no,
a family
I'm not.
coach.
I'm just saying.
I have
this
been
is
working
ridiculous.
with AP students, high school students, for 20 plus years. It's a fact.
No, I believe you. That's just
They're
crazy.
up till midnight, at least, sometimes later, and then they wake up at 6 in the morning because they have so much homework.
Right, and they're not actually learning anything,
Well, I don't know if they're learning or not. This is why learning is all it's so individual. This is why these studies are so flawed, in my opinion, because yes, obviously, you said something on a podcast video that we're going to put on Instagram that cracked me up. You said something well, duh. It was... You said you were reading a stat about parental stress, and it says, arguing with your kids about their screens stresses you out. Stresses parents out. We're like, well, duh!
Right, thank you for that groundbreaking information.
So it's kind of like a well, duh moment. Yes, kids that spend time doing homework have more academic success.
Right.
Duh!
Right,
That's
of
why
course.
I didn't do any homework in high school, or I did the bare minimum because I didn't care. I find little ways to cheat and go around it and just not do it, or, because I didn't want to do it. And so I didn't have as much success because I didn't do homework. I didn't study.
The problem is going through our school system, teaching us how to do all these things that you're saying, homework and how to make sure we have a test on time. It doesn't really gear us up for an entrepreneurship type world. It maybe sets us up for getting a W-2 job and being an employee and just working your normal shift. but it doesn't set you up to be a critical thinker. It doesn't set you up to be a problem solver.
Exactly.
And so that's where it's failing.
Well, there's a huge list of why why homework fails. That's one of them. And this is not an episode on that. So here's another thing on the list. Johns Hopkins, their report actually came out with something I think was actually really helpful. Their research says that good homework matters. So they describe homework as either good homework or not good.
Yeah, and busy homework or stupid.
Right.
Yeah, got it.
It's like encouraging student ownership or family interaction leads to higher completion rates and deeper engagement. Duh.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between good homework and bad homework. This is why there are actual elementary school teachers, middle school, and high school teachers that say, I do not give homework because I don't believe in it. I don't think it increases. And I tell you, my students here, I need you guys to be here. And if you're here and you're working hard in class, you're going to do fine in this class, and you're not going to need homework. But if you're not working hard, I'm going to give you homework. There's like a lot of ways of going about it. You want some more creative ideas, what other parents are doing?
Sure.
Okay. All right.
Sending their kids to boarding school.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
That's not on my list, but.
Oh, okay.
Now, how about this one? Hey, it sounds like this. You know what? I don't want to argue with you over homework anymore. This is your job. You can do your homework or not. And I'm not going to make you do your homework. It's up to you. That's an idea.
Oh, okay. Just leave it up to them, literally.
What do you think about that?
I think that depends on their age. Yeah.
If you did that with your kids right now, what would happen?
They would still do it.
Mm-hmm.
They would still do it. My kids, they would still do it.
How many kids would still do it, in your opinion? Think about it. How many kids would actually do their homework if their parents, in a loving, kind way, say, look, I really need you to do your homework. You should be a good listener. You should listen to your teacher. But this just stresses us out. It causes so much pain. So we're going to try something new. For the next month, you can do your homework or not. I'm going to check in with you one time. Say, hey, do you need help with your homework? And then you can say yes or no, and you can do it or not. What do you think would happen?
I think there'd be some kids who may forget because they're used to you reminding them. Mm-hmm. I could see them getting upset because they forgot to do their homework, and now we parents put this pressure on them for them to remember it on their own. I think some kids would just do their homework and be like, no, I got kids here.
Yeah.
One of my kids who won't miss it. I can't miss class. I got to, and they're very on top of it. So I think you majority would do it, but it could cause some tears because maybe they forget. Why didn't you remind me? Well, I told you at the beginning of the month I wasn't going to push you, Well, I needed to do it, and then there's a whole issue.
Let's talk about more scenarios. How about the kid who doesn't do his homework, and then they're starting getting embarrassed by the teacher or by the class that they're the kid not doing their homework now, and their grades are going down. So now they change their mind. I will do my homework.
Right.
Or how about the scenario of the kid that, doesn't do a great job with their homework, but at least does some homework, 50%. But can you imagine how the stress level in the house has risen? You went from an F stress to now you're A stress. Is that worth it? Do you feel like you'd be a bad parent by giving your kid that, freedom?
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know if I would do that because I'm such an A type. I'm like, I know I need to make sure things are done. Right. That would be a challenge for some parents too. Not only the kids, but the parents.
How about this idea? Saying, hey, the next idea is 5-star idea. Not this idea, but this idea is pretty good. Say you're elementary or middle school kid. Hey, all right, you do your homework if you want to or not. But if I get a message back from your teacher that your grades are going down, well, then you're not going to be allowed to play any video games or watch any screen time. So you do it or not, but
your consequences are on you.
We can't. Let's say your kid loves sports, and say, hey, if you don't, you can do your homework or not, because I don't want to argue.
I mean, schools already have that rule. You got to have a C minimum to play sports.
So have that in your own home. If your grade drops below, sometimes they don't have A's, B's, C's, and D's, and S, but they have 1, 2s, and 3s. I think let's call 3 as a good. If you end up getting a 1 in any of your classes because you're not doing your homework, then you're not going to be able to play sports. I have a very powerful VIP membership experience, right? I meet with parents 3 times a week on Zoom calls. They get my private cell phone number. It's 100% satisfaction rate so far. Been doing it for like 6 years. It's incredible. One tool that I give people in that membership is I'll say, hey, here's a great tool that I suggest for everybody that has high school kids, is you just do not argue with the homework battle. Like, give it up. Instead, say, here's what we need you to do. We need you to, and then come up with a GPA, like 2.5 or 3.0. It's got to be one of those two. And say, we need you to keep this a minimum of the GPA. You don't allow any, we can't allow any D's. So if you want to do your homework, do it. If you don't. I don't want to micromanage it. You're old enough now. You're a young adult. You're in high school. You're 14. But if I see a D in any of your classes on my phone, we're going to have major consequences.
That's like jobs having endless time off. It's like, no, you can have as much time off. You better just get your work done.
Yeah.
You better get your work done, and you can have as much time off as you want.
It's a major hack because it just reduces stress. It reduces command and control. Of course, there's other loopholes that you should be considered in it. But for some families, it's a great fit. And for some people, they push back on that. What? I feel like if I told my kid they only have to get a 2.5, well, they would only get a 2.5. Well, then that tells you that's the type of kid you have. Right? So if you want your kid to get more than a 2.5, well, then come up with some incentives. Right? Say, all right, but if you get a 3.0, then I'll do this for you. I'll buy you this. I'll pay for this grade. I'll pay for that. So carrots and sticks is how you can motivate a donkey, but also carrots and sticks is how you can motivate a human being. Say, hey, your minimum here, but here's your bonus. I'm just giving you creative ideas what other families have done.
I think these are great ideas. I think some of us should explore these ideas and let us know how it goes.
Yeah.
Write us on social media or give us an email, because it'd be cool to figure out if this is working.
All right, man. That's probably enough for today. Can I do a little recap?
Please. It was a fantastic episode.
I think it's a really important, stressful episode. I hope you really, really enjoyed it, everybody. Here are some great tips for the homework battles, the do's and don'ts to how to de-stress and get through the homework battles. Here's some ideas. Idea number 1 is to think as a parent. Parenting is never about what it's about. Homework is not about homework. It's about power. It's about stress. It's about pain versus pleasure. It's about like you branding yourself as the coach, as the support, not the nagger, not the micromanager, not the rescuer. Like you are there to help them with this stressful thing because you are their person. Number 2, create like a win-win vibe in your house. Especially your kids get older. Talk to them. Find out, well, what is good for you? What's not good for you? Be a strong parent. Be firm. Set the win-win in a way that works for you so you're not stressing yourself out. If you feel like you're that parent that's just micromanaging, reminding, you're exhausted, check yourself because you're wrecking yourself. Figure out a different way to parent this kid. Get some new tools so this homework battles is not destroying your relationship, which would be point number 3. Don't let homework destroy your relationship. Don't give teachers homework. Don't give your power away to ruin something so wonderful. And the last idea is just figure out a way to create a home structure of love around homework. Like homework sucks for many kids. So let them see that you are worthy, you are worth it, you have many skills in life, even if you really struggle with homework. Your identity is not in your homework. It's not in your academics. You are good enough just the way you are. I hope that helps.
100%. Loved every moment of it.
Thanks for letting Jordan and I be a part of your life.
Contact
us on social media. Tell us some ideas for podcast episodes. Share this with a friend. Much love, everyone.